This clip of the Texas Bucket List is brought to you by Spirit of Texas Bank, Slovacek Sausage, Germania Insurance, We Rent It, and RV Source. Howdy, and welcome to the Texas Bucket List, the show dedicated to everything there's to see, do, and experience right here in the Lone Star State. My name is Shane McAuliffe, and over the years I've had a couple of glasses of wine made from right here in the Lone Star State, but there's one winery that can only claim to be the oldest. So we headed down to Del Rio to dive into some fine vino. In the fertile soil of Val Verde County, just a few miles from Mexico, Del Rio has the distinction of having undoubtedly the oldest winery in the Lone Star State.
They're older than most wineries.
Yes, in Texas, yes, that's true.
Thomas Qualia is the third generation of winemakers at the Val Verde Winery, a winery whose roots got planted in 1883, making it the ninth oldest continuously operating winery in the country.
We're proud of what we do because we start from ground up. We grow it, we make it, and we sell it.
Well, it's older than me, but
Not by much.
yeah.
This whole arm here is the old wood up here in these canes. We'll probably come back here and take one of these canes and run it back up here and start it all over.
Thomas has spent his entire life cultivating, harvesting, and producing a fine spirit full of Texas soul.
It's going to be an award winner.
This story starts with a young 18-year-old Italian named Frank Qualia, who immigrated to Mexico but found work on the macaroni line in Texas. Soon after, he found himself in Del Rio with a thirst, so he planted a 10-acre vineyard, quenched by the San Felipe Springs, and not much has changed.
I give all the credit, though, to my father and grandfather because they're the ones that did it. I was lucky enough to inherit it, and so at times I wonder about that luck, but anyway.
Thomas's father, Louis, took over the winery in 1936, 3 years after the end of Prohibition, which the winery survived by making sacramental and medicinal wine. As a young man, Thomas grew amongst the grapes and had a few learning curves along the way.
And I drove a pickup when I was probably 7 years old, and if my foot slipped off the clutch and threw somebody out the back of the truck, I was running for my life. So.
The fond memories don't just include the memorable mishaps. As the vineyard grew and new methods were put into place, Louis Qualia made the fruit flourish.
These were all grafted by my father in the late 30s onto native Mustang grapes. I've had a large number of people request information about the Herbermont and where he acquired his first cuttings. It's been a real mainstay for the winery. We've taken a lot of cuttings from it to propagate other vines.
I've never seen a vine that big in my life.
Well, there's some bigger than that, but this is the biggest one we have.
That says something to the age of the wine, though, and the age of the winery, because you don't see that in Texas vineyards.
No, not right now. It's going to take another 100 years for them to try to catch up, but we'll still be 100 years ahead of them.
The Qualias produce around 3,000 cases of wine a year, not exactly enough to get around the entire state, but enough to keep the family business in operation.
I'd rather make a good bottle of wine at a fair price and keep it that way.
Today, Thomas works with his son Michael, and the next generation is already learning the vines.
My sister and I are working hard, and fifth generation is coming along, so we're excited.
Uncorking a bottle of this wine, made from the Linois or Blanc du Bois grapes grown in the generational ground, gives you an opportunity to taste a part of Texas history that fittingly comes from a country that happens to be the shape of a boot.
It's a labor of love because it's a lot of work, but I enjoy doing it. And some people say, "What are you doing out there in the vineyard? Don't you ever take a break?" And I said, "What am I going to do? Watch TV? Go to the movies?" I'd rather be out in the vineyards, out and talking to my vines or talking to people at the winery.
We like the small family operations that they know what they're doing, and they have a lot of pleasure in creating and crafting wines.
It's a tradition that there's not another one in Texas that's this old and Italian proud.